everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Kinky Politics. Today,
Hi.
oh, sorry, I forgot. With me, Chris and Kai. Today is going to be a What the Fuck Wednesday episode. I believe our second, maybe third. Can't remember. But
Second.
today, I'm going to start this one off because I've just had a COVID related experience at work that just has me saying, "What the fuck?" Um, so to kind of fill everybody in, I work at an airline and I work in a warehouse at an airline where we receive all the food and beverages that go on flights and stuff like that. One of my coworkers was at work yesterday, went home, found out that his daughter, who was in high school, I don't know, 16, 17, has been practicing the last 3 days with somebody that tested positive for COVID. So obviously they took the precaution to go get tested. He contacted my employer and let them know, and did the right thing, and then said he wasn't going to come in for the next 3, 4, 5 days, however long it takes to get his results back. They said it can be up to 7 days. It's part-time anyway. He works 22 hours a week. The business will go on without him. But today they contacted him and told him to go ahead and come into work tomorrow because since you don't know that your daughter has coronavirus yet, you technically haven't been in contact with somebody that has coronavirus. So go ahead and keep on coming into work and possibly infecting everybody at work until your daughter's test comes back positive. And then we'll give you, from that point on, you have 14-day quarantine period. And I guess
Oh
this is kind of
my
how.
God.
So then today he found out that another girl on the volleyball team has tested positive for coronavirus too. So now we have two players on the team that his daughter has been in contact with. But I guess this is how it happened with his daughter's volleyball team too. Is they thought they maybe came into contact with somebody, or thought maybe they came into contact with somebody, got tested, continued going to volleyball practice while they were waiting results, and then got the positive results, and then bam, all these other people are positive now. So this all happened at work, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, no. So I contacted my union and was kind of telling them what was going on. They contacted our GM, and then our GM changed his tune to, well, I'm going to leave it up to your actual supervisor of your department to decide whether or not the manpower is needed. So I don't know if the manpower is going to be needed or not. But then I just found out after work today too that my supervisor told somebody that I was causing drama at work today because I was trying to fucking prevent a COVID outbreak. I'm just like, oh, I was just like, Jesus.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
You're trying to do the right thing by keeping yourself and others healthy,
Yeah.
free from this fucking virus.
Yeah.
Like something that you can't control personally, but you're trying to make sure that like it doesn't, hopefully, no one has it. This guy doesn't end up having it and it doesn't spread anywhere.
Yeah.
And yet your boss is telling other people that you're causing drama.
Yeah. That's
I
what I
am
was told.
so shocked at that.
I
And
know.
I'm also so shocked at the response of, I don't know if it was your GM or your supervisor who said to the guy, no, show up to work.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
That's insane. To me, it sounds like a Trump response of like, it's like this type of like sort of like, it's fine, it's just a flu type of thing, or it's fine, I'm fine, we don't need to wear masks. And I just, you see, this is why I feel like we need some national mandates.
Oh, and this, sorry, I don't want, I'm going to
Go
try to
ahead.
limit my cursing. This MFer also gets to work from home like 60, 70% of the time too. So he doesn't care if coronavirus gets brought in the building because he's working from home right now because he's management. Management's been able to work remotely this entire pandemic, whereas us frontline workers or us essential workers have had to bring our happy asses into work and risk it every day. So it's
This
like,
is terrible.
yeah, because
It's so terrible.
I have a
I'm so sorry to
70-year-old
hear this.
coworker. I have a couple of obese coworkers that are going to be high risk. Like I got people with health issues that I'm just like, we don't need to be exposing people to this over a part. Like, it's not even like, I don't know. It's just, they're not even because this is how we got in this mess in the first place, more so in America, is
Yeah.
we didn't think long term. Like, we
Right.
didn't think about keeping the virus out. We thought, oh, we can let it in and we'll manage it. Whereas if we had just thought long term, like, hey, what's going to be the best long term solution for this? Don't let this shit in. Soon as it broke out in China, shut the shit down for like a month, and then you can kind of go from there. But we didn't want to do that because we were like, oh, we'll lose a month's worth of profits over the next 2 or 3 years worth of profits. And my company's doing the same thing again. Like, they're not willing to risk like one day of maybe having to pay somebody an hour of overtime or a couple of weeks of overtime to one or two people is what they're thinking. Like, oh, we can't do that. Versus if this guy comes in, because if he comes to work tomorrow, that will mean pretty much like, because my department's about 30 people. That will mean pretty much everybody in my department has came into contact with this guy in the past couple of days. And then if he tests positive, that means my entire department would have to go home for 2 weeks and not be able to come to work. So if that happens and these semis full of shit show up to drop off food and beverages for the airplanes, who's gonna take it off the truck? Who's gonna put it? Like, there's going to be nobody. And my company is responsible for, I think, like 75% of all flights out of this airport, the town I work in. And we are the fifth or sixth busiest airport in the country. So it's like, are you really are you really willing to risk that and then put your company on national media? Because they're going to put you on fucking blast if something like that happens.
That's it. It just doesn't sound like strategic planning to
I know.
me.
It's like,
And it's like,
who's doing the
because these
thinking
are
at these places?
simply, huh?
Said, who's doing the thinking at these places?
I don't know. And what's startling to me is like these are business people, you know? So it's like all they do is forecast and do strategic planning. So
Yeah.
obviously that all I can think is that maybe this has to do, it's not necessarily about strategic planning and more about what they actually believe about the virus.
Yeah.
Because if they really felt like it was an imminent threat, then you would think that they would start to forecast and strategically plan accordingly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this guy in particular, funny thing is before becoming kind of like our GM, because our GM kind of got promoted during the virus because we did a corporate shakeup, and she's kind of going to be out for on maternity leave for a while. But he was our senior manager of finance, so it's like thinking about like what's best financially for the company should be on his thing. And then, do you watch Game of Thrones at all? Have you ever seen it?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to say he looks exactly like Tywin Lannister, but he could easily replace Tywin Lannister and you wouldn't notice for like a scene or two. You might be like, wait a minute, does Tywin Lannister look different? Because he's just looks like him. He acts like him. He's just an asshole. And like everybody in the building, nobody likes him. He's just like that guy. But I think he's probably a Republican. I could see him being a Trumper. You can't be an open Trumper at my company, but in management, like it would be problematic because we're supporting Black Lives Matter and stuff. But I think behind the scenes, he probably is. He's just that guy.
God.
So I don't know. It's frustrating though. That's my what the fuck.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear it, Chris. And it is worthy of a what the fuck 1,000 times, actually, said 1,000 times. I guess my what the fuck one of my contributions to What the Fuck Wednesday is, did you hear what Lindsey Graham said?
No, I can only imagine.
About talking to Amy Barrett.
No.
About the good old days of segregation.
What the fuck?
Correct.
Those were his exact words, the good old days of segregation?
Exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Because I'm,
dog whistle that shit. Jesus.
Exactly. Because I'm, a thoughtful person, an educated person, right? I was like, oh, okay. He was asking a question and it was like sort of not a rhetorical question, but more so like, come on, you get it, right? Mm-hmm. And it was sort of, I think why he did it was because it was sort of sarcastic. And I was trying to be a bit sarcastic about it. Like he was talking about like her position on Roe.
Roe v. Wade.
Thank you, Roe v. Wade,
Mhm.
And her thoughts on it, and or the way she would rule in favor of it or anything like that. And he's like, and then he tied with it because and so he tied with it something about like, and we can't go back to the good old days of segregation. So it was supposed to have been said in this sort of like sarcastic like type of way, like type of way.
Yeah.
But what it really said was like, wow, you're actually everything we thought you were. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then she answered the question matter of factly. She was like, yes, no. Like completely like, and I'm like,
Jeez.
it's just I wonder if I can play it somewhere. But it was unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
And that's crazy to me too, because he's in the midst of a very tight election right now. Like there's a black Democrat running against him, and it's like neck and neck, which is kind of crazy for South Carolina in the first place. But what the fuck? Like, I don't know if that's crazy. That's like some Strom Thurmond shit.
It was, let's see, I'm gonna see if I can play here. But it was on, huh?
I was saying he's from the same state as Strom Thurmond. You remember that guy? That old racist fuck that just like was in Congress for like 60 years. He thought he'd never die.
Yeah. Can you hear this?
Cases, there's active litigation regarding Roe. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And one of the reasons you can't tell us how you would rule is because there's active litigation coming to the court. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And one of the reasons you can say with confidence that you think Brown versus Board of Education is super precedent is that you're not aware of any effort to go back to the good old days of segregation by a legislative body. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I've also said that in lectures that Brown was correct as an original matter. So that is the kind of thing, since I've said it in writing, I felt like I could express before the committee.
You're getting criticized by them.
Damn.
How is that like the good old? Huh?
Yeah, what? The good old days?
I just don't even think that was worthy of a joke.
Yeah.
If you were on SNL, maybe, but you're over
No
here
shit.
fucking.
That's what I was thinking. Like on
Right?
SNL, that would make sense. In real life?
But you're
Fuck.
completely inappropriate.
Yeah.
But it's not even about being appropriate versus not being appropriate. It's just about fucking being a racist versus not being a racist.
Was there anything?
Don't realize that they're racist.
Was there like an online blow up over that?
No, it actually didn't really get the traction that I was assuming it would. I mean, it has, but like not to the extent that like I would think,
Yeah.
I think mostly like Black liberals are talking about this.
Oh. CNN and MSNBC aren't running wild with it. No. If Trump had said that shit, it would be fucking all over the goddamn media. They would be going nuts if Trump had tweeted something. If Trump had tweeted that, the good old days of segregation, they would be all over it.
Because he's the fucking president of the United States.
But what's his name?
Yes.
He's like high-ranking senator. Like he's up there.
He is a high-ranking senator. We also know.
He's like number 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, he is.
Like that's crazy.
I just don't understand how Republicans still respect Lindsey Graham because.
Yeah, a lot of them don't. I think that's why his election's so close.
Yeah, he's just so wish-washy.
Yeah.
I don't get
His big thing was like he was like real close with John McCain. So he was kind of like John McCain's boy for a while, but John McCain's dead now. Like he's nobody's boy now. Like he's just on his own. And now people are like, yeah, we don't like Lindsey Graham. He's kind of a piece of shit. Honestly, I've never understood how Lindsey Graham has been reelected as many times as he has, because I remember in college, like hearing him during the Obama years and just thinking, how the fuck did people elect this guy? Like he's a moron. Like he's just a bigoted, idiotic moron. Like, is that all? He is. Like, is in South Carolina, is that just good enough? Like, can't you at least get like articulate kind of house trained Republican in there?
I honestly think so. Oh, what was I gonna say? Shit. There was another what the fuck Wednesday thing. Did you hear that Kim Kardashian's husband,
Kanye?
Kanye, thank you. I don't know why that slipped. Got some votes in Kentucky.
Oh, he's on my ballot here in Colorado.
People are actually voting for him.
I'm sure it's probably like a protest vote, just like, fuck it. But, well, who knows? There's crazy people out there.
Why
But
fucking stand in a line? Why mail anything? Like, why vote if you're going to do that?
yeah, I don't know.
Throw your vote away. Just don't vote.
I don't care about the president. Hopefully they're voting for at least the local offices and some things like that too. I still haven't made up my mind if I'm going to vote for the Democrat for president and the Senate.
Okay.
I did get to speak with my Democratic candidate for House last night. Actually got to, it's the first time I've ever talked to a Congress member before. That was weird. Asked him about affordable housing. What the hell? Democrats really realistically can we expect from Democrats if they do win all three branches? Because I know I'm not going to be able to expect actual affordable housing anytime soon. That ain't going to happen. But give me some realistic expectations that I can like hope for. Because give me something to vote for you motherfuckers on. Like, goddamn, like give me something, So he was genuine. I felt in his response and everything. So I was like, I'll vote for this dude. It wasn't like the answer that I was really wanting to hear, but he at least it didn't seem like a pre-scripted, robotic talking point type thing or something like that. It seemed like it was genuinely what he thought was the best solution. And he's pretty new he's not like a career politician or anything. He's only been in Congress for 2 years. This is his first re-election campaign. So it's like, yeah, I'll give him a chance.
Good on you.
Because we had Republican in that seat for a while, and then he flipped the district by like a 20-point difference. It's kind of crazy. I went from like
that's incredible.
Yeah, I went from 60-40 Republican to 60-40 Democrat. And I'm not well. He's pretty conservative too, and we have a military base here, so he's ex-military. So I think that had a large part to do with it. But still, that's pretty crazy. But now that Republican that lost to him is our mayor. So he's blocking all. He's doing his best to block progressive things from happening in our city. Now that we have some kind of socialist city council members, it's like, dude, you're 70. Just give up the fight of evil and just go retire. Live up your millions.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let other people. Like, honestly.
Yeah. Who does that? Who loses a congressional race and then is like, all right, I'll go be mayor now and just keep ruining people's lives. It's like, dude, take your bribe money and just go live in the Tahiti or somewhere. Enjoy life. Fuck.
Seriously. Seriously.
I'm ranting.
I don't know if you heard, but WAP, the song, is ineligible for a Grammy next year.
It is or isn't?
It is ineligible.
Why is that?
Because of when they released it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's weird on the timing of those things. So
that sucks. I feel kind of bad for her and bad for not terribly bad, but like I feel kind of bad because it's a pretty popular song. It's held the #1 spot on the Billboard charts for a while now.
Yeah. If it got a Grammy, I would feel like that would denigrate the Grammys.
What'd you say?
I said I feel like if it won a Grammy, it would just denigrate the Grammys.
Well, there's been a lot of trash that has been winning.
That's true. The Grammys have kind of went off the rails the past, I feel like 10, 15 years. I don't know. I feel like when we were younger, like in the 90s, it did kind of go to like who you would consider the deserving winner. Most of the time. But then
because it was about music, it was about artistry. It wasn't really about just like high sexuality and like a hit for the, for the singer.
But now I don't know when the change happened, but I definitely noticed it over time where I started noticing like it's not going to the best artist anymore. It's going to who sold the most records, essentially. I was like, and I thought that's what the Billboard Awards were for, is basically to celebrate pop music. But the Grammys were always supposed to be about like kind of like what the Oscars were. It's like the Oscars don't always, if the Oscars start giving Oscars to fucking the Avengers, the Oscar means nothing because the Avengers never, well, maybe one day they'll make one that does deserve something, but I'm sure the graphics are amazing, but the acting of those movies, like you can't be giving out like awards to just whoever made the most popular stuff amongst teenagers. Like it needs to go to who is making the best art. So it's like people need to
Yeah.
understand the difference between those two things. And the Grammys somehow just went off the rails. And it's like, yeah, I guess they've already
Yeah.
kind of lost it. I keep thinking about that
Yeah, I
back
was
in the day.
another thing. Chris Christie
No,
has COVID-19. Did you hear about that?
no, but that warms my heart a little bit. I'm sorry, but
I'm
it does.
smiling and I know I'm like he's got COVID-19.
Yeah, I don't care.
He's
Like,
got
I want to be a good person, but look, here's the thing. I don't subscribe to a religious belief that forces me to take those stances. Thankfully, if I did, I would work a little harder at that. I try to wish good things for good people, and bad people that have bad things happen to them, I just smile and enjoy it because karma. Like, you can't just go around doing bad things and then, like, when bad things happen to you, expect other people to be like, oh, it's good.
exactly
Like,
right.
you deserve what you know. If bad
Deserve
things
what
happen
is
to good people,
everyone
that's totally good.
deserves what they get, right?
Yeah,
That's what we say anyway. He
yeah,
spent 7 days in the ICU and is now urging everybody to wear masks.
yeah. That's good. He'll probably try and rebrand himself as the reformed moderate Republican during the Biden years, and he'll be all over your TV screen for the next 8 years, and then run for president at the end of that. It's just so sick. You can already see it, the plan in place. It's just like he's a turd that needs to flush. Just get rid of that dude. Like, he provides nothing of any substance or value to the political discourse in this country. Like, at best, he's like a barely house trained Republican on a good day. Like, just get rid of him. He provides nothing. We need new
Exactly.
ideas. Yeah.
We do. We
Sorry.
really do. Another what the fuck Wednesday. I do feel bad, like to a degree that, like, he's got, I don't really think that any, it sucks hearing that someone's dying.
Yeah.
It sucks to hear that someone's ill, 'cause I don't necessarily wish anything bad on these people, but when you're right, when it does happen, I'm just kind of like, well, I guess I'm not going to pray for you.
Yeah.
That's
That's the
I'm
deal.
gonna
I
let
won't
God
pray that it
do
takes you. I won't
You know?
pray that it takes you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay neutral on this one.
Did you hear about the grandfather who was charged in the death of his granddaughter on a cruise? She fell overboard and died.
No.
So he was on a cruise with his granddaughter, and she was like 2 or something like that. She was a toddler or something.
Mm.
And the child fell overboard, and he was pleading not guilty, like but they were trying to charge him with negligence, and he was just trying to say like it wasn't negligence, it was just an accident, like I forget what they call it. I'll look, but it's something like a wrongful death lawsuit, basically, was filed against the ship operator, but like I forget formally what they call it.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's now being he's now accepted a guilty plea as a deal, and I just feel so bad because
Was this in Australia, Melbourne?
this is in Puerto Rico.
Oh, I saw something in Melbourne where somebody got sentenced to like 9 years for killing their child or something like that. I don't know. I didn't read the story itself. I just saw the headline.
So here's a little insert, but a wrongful death lawsuit filed against the ship's operator, Royal Caribbean Cruises, on behalf of the family, says Anello was supervising Chloe, this is the child, when she wandered to a floor-to-ceiling wall of windows. She asked to be lifted up to bang on the glass, the suit said. So Anello held her up and she leaned forward. She then slipped through his hands and through the open pane, falling 150 feet onto the San Juan Pier. The family claims that the glass panes on the deck can be slid open by any passenger, and the walls didn't contain warnings that the panes could open.
Oh.
Anello told CBS News last year that he wouldn't have placed the toddler near the window if he had known it was open.
Yeah.
So it's like you can see like this was an accident.
So how is this dude's fault? Like, what are they charging him with?
They're charging him with negligence.
How's that negligent? That doesn't make any sense. Does he have the worst lawyer in the history of law?
Yeah, he was charged with negligent homicide months after the incident and initially pleaded not guilty. Earlier this year, an attorney representing Chloe's family, but who does not represent Anello in his criminal case, said Anello was planning to change the plea to guilty as part of a deal with prosecutors.
I wonder what that plea deal is.
But it's just like he's a grandfather. This was his grandchild. He was picking her up. Like, this is just, it's unbelievable that the family has one lawyer, like the child's family has one lawyer and he has another.
Yeah. It's weird.
So I don't know, maybe there's more to the story, but every time I read the story, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Fuck.
That's why you don't have kids.
I mean, the dude, the grandfather is like, in this thing, it's like he's sobbing.
Yeah.
He made a fucking mistake, and then like now, like he should be pleading guilty for the death of his fucking grandchild, which obviously was an accident. Remember that huge crazy story of that father not knowing that his child was behind the tire of his like truck and he ran her over?
Mm-mm.
Remember that? It was a sad story. He didn't know she was on the driveway. He got into his truck and he backed up and literally ran her over and killed her.
Yeah, I've heard of stories like that before. Very sad.
They didn't charge that man. So it's like, why are they charging this one? For the homicide? Like, to me, it sounds like it's enough grief. It's like, for fuck's sake. But if the family has another lawyer, then you start to wonder if like, there's a little bit more to the story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's hard to speculate on things when you don't really have any details beyond kind of a brief outline. Yeah, it sounds pretty crazy.
It does. Also, in What the Fuck Wednesday, so Trump and Biden obviously are not meeting for the next debate. What the fuck?
Is that tonight that they're doing their thing?
They're not having a debate.
I know, but they're both doing like dueling town halls on at the same time on different channels. Is that tonight?
And it's like, how could you? I don't understand. I literally, look, I can't even get the words out. I don't even understand how this is possible, how they're able to get away with this, because this has never happened in the history of anything.
Well, we've never had this during COVID before, but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
But like, come on. There are other ways. Obviously, we can have like a virtual debate.
Well, that's what they proposed, and Trump said, "Fuck that." That's why they're not having a debate.
I know, and it's crazy to me that we can get away with like that. He can do this, and to me, it just looks like a good idea for him not to debate. I wouldn't debate if I were Trump.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. A town hall is a much better format for him. They got a third debate.
He did what he wanted. He was smart.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not doing that. I've never do that. I'm not doing that. And it's just like, you son of a, he's so clever.
Yeah, I mean that's how they get where they are. They don't get there by being super dumb, evil, but clever. They got a third debate though. I'll be curious if Trump shows up. Trump will probably try and go to that one though, because that's going to be about foreign policy.
Oh yeah.
So Republicans always love to get their military fellatio in there. So
that's true. Anyway, I think that's it for my What the Fuck Wednesday. What about you?
I think that's it for this one. Until next week, everybody. As normal, like, share, subscribe. See you guys next week.
Oh my God. Orange is not my new black.